we have a whole bunch of new chicks. There's one hen that hatched like 7 chicks. They're all around here. I don't know if the roosters, like, I don't know how the social dynamics between chickens work, so I don't know if the roosters protect the hens and the chicks.
I also don't know much about chicken social dynamic.
I'll go and check.
You'll go and check or check? It'll do.
Another terrible dad joke. What? You did another dad joke last week. Can't remember.
I don't remember last week. Tuesday, my new diamond dot thing will arrive. Bas got me one because he knows I'm poor, so he bought one for me. So it's another dragon one, another Anne Stokes. It's like a more purple one. Yeah, there was like this really pretty Aurora Borealis one, but he's like, no, the dragon one's nicer. But next time when I buy for myself, I think I'll do the Aurora one. It's so pretty. It's so many colours. Yeah, because there's like really nice Van Gogh and stuff ones, and even on sale, it's like 400-500 rand. It's usually like 700 rand. So I'm like, I don't love this hobby that much.
Yeah, I was just about to say, that's quite expensive. I didn't think it got like that expensive.
I saw one for like 1,000 something.
Oh gosh.
Why?
Why?
Oh, it's too much. I just put that picture up there now because it was on the table to be kept flat. It's the diamond one I finished.
Oh, yes.
Because it was like really curling up on the sides. Yeah.
It looks very detailed. Like I can see a lot of detail from here. Is that the finish? Is that the actual diamond dot
yes,
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the finished one. So now let's just get a frame, and then I can add it to my other framed one that doesn't have a home.
It looks really cool though. I'm surprised at all the detail that comes out after you've done the dots.
I think it's the size, because it's basically like working with pixels, you know, so the smaller the image, the more compressed and the more blurry it is. So that's, I think, a 30 by 40, because the other one I had was 30 by 30, and it's like, it's kind of, you can't really tell what the picture is supposed to be. It's blurry. So if it was like double the size, it would have been very clear.
Yes.
So I suppose maybe that 1,000 rand one is like a big ass.
Probably, it's probably like a massive.
And you can get custom ones as well. Like you can give them your photo, and then they print out. Cool. So you can do like one of you and Pat, or like you and the cat.
That's very
Pat
cool.
and the cat.
Pat and the cat, and then you can like sit and do them together.
Oh, that's a nice idea. Yeah, Bas would not have the patience. I told him to. He put one diamond onto the painting. I made him do it. I'm like, hey, now you've done it.
But it seems very like therapeutic, almost like very meditative. Yes, like
and
very
also,
like you can get into a zone and just kind of focus on that.
Yeah. And also, if you don't like want to do one dot at a time, say there's a big area, like a big same color area, you get ones that you can pick up like 2 at a time, or you can pick up like 4 at a time. So you can do big sections. It's just you must like buy the special pen, but you can do big sections quicker.
Okay.
They also make pens with LED lights on them, so you can see better. For load shedding, that's actually a good idea. I should do that.
That is a good idea.
Oh, it's a good thing we didn't agree to get a tattoo at 500, because we're on 492. So we're 8 away from a big milestone.
Yeah. And then the next one is 1,000.
And that's tattoo time.
Tattoo time?
Yeah.
What are we going to get?
Those killer bees were quite cute.
Yeah, right? Those killer bees were so cute. Even the ghosts. But I do like the one bee was holding a knife and the other one was holding a gun, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, that was so great. Hilarious. But then how do we decide who gets a knife and who gets a gun?
Oh, we just do Inky Piggy Bonky.
Sorry. I don't know why that tickled me so much. I was thinking like which one of us is more likely to commit knife crimes, but
jeez. my way was just much more innocent.
It was. Oh my word. Okay.
So last week we were speaking about we don't know where shells come from. So I went and looked it up. Because that's just become a recurring segment now. Me looking things up that I talked about earlier. So most shells come from soft-bodied mollusks, like snails, clams, oysters, and like other things like that. And they need hard protection because they're soft. So the animals make them.
Okay.
And I think it is kind of what I said. Like I was on the right path. I was on the right track. So mollusks have an outermost layer of tissue on their bodies called the mantle. The layer connects the animal to its shell, and the mantle also creates the shell. Specialized cells in the mantle build the shell using proteins and minerals. Calcium carbonate, the main mineral found in shells, including eggshells, binds the proteins. Calcium carbonate can form two different types of crystals. One is called calcite. This is an incredibly common crystal and can be found all over the world. Calcite makes up chalk, marble, coral, limestone. Didn't
Limes, yeah. You did say limestone, actually, yes.
I don't know where that came from. And seashells. So, made up out of the same material, kind of. The other form is aragonite. This crystal has an arrangement of calcium carbonate, both calcite and aragonite. Both the forms are found in seashells. And then we spoke about MSG.
Monosodium glutamate. Sorry. Yes.
What was that?
I don't know. I'm tired.
Did you just give it its own theme song?
Yes, I did.
Or like...
I think it's jingle, yeah.
Yes, jingle. So, I can't remember. I don't think we specifically said it's bad for you or anything. But like, I just want to clarify it's not. It's just
I always thought it is.
No. So, it's a flavor enhancer that has been used for roughly 100 years. It enhances the flavor of umami, and umami has a very meaty flavor that refers to the presence of proteins. It's made by fermenting carb sources like sugar beet, sugar cane, and molasses. There's no chemical difference between glutamic acid found naturally in some foods and that found in MSG. Your body can't tell the difference. So studies show that umami substances can lower the desire to salt foods. Salt is another flavor enhancer, and some research postulates that replacing some salt with MSG can reduce people's sodium intake by approximately 3% without sacrificing flavor.
Oh wow, okay. So my mom was lying. My mom was like, MSG is bad for you, you can't have this. You're smart. It's food. I mean, of course. Oh, what is this place called? Let me just check. Because our podcast is on there. Podchaser. There's a website called Podchaser where our podcast is on there, and you can go and find all sorts of podcasts there. You can rate podcasts. You can rate episodes. You can chat about what you thought of the episodes. So
that's cool.
That's if people are on Podchaser, we're on there now, and you can find us and leave feedback.
So before we start, I just want to give our usual disclaimer. The following stories contain graphic content and might not be suitable for everyone. The sources I use to find the information will be listed below, and everything I say is my own opinion unless it is stated as fact. And obviously I mean no disrespect towards anyone I speak about This podcast is purely for educational purposes. So today I'm going to be talking about Zanele Hlatshwayo. Zanele was not the only victim of the people I'm going to talk about. So the story is indirectly on her, although the whole case doesn't surround around someone finding the body and a case being opened up, or you'll see. Zanele was only one of a few victims, if not the only one, that could be identified from these people. We will never really know how many victims there truly were. So on the 19th of August 2017, so also quite recently still. Yeah, and I think I vaguely remember seeing this in the news, but no, I never really went into reading it too much. So on the 19th of August 2017, Nino Mbata walked into the escort police station in KwaZulu-Natal and told the officers on duty that he was, quote, tired of eating human flesh, unquote.
Okay.
At first, police also, they didn't believe him, and they thought he was mentally ill, mentally unstable. Screws were coming loose. Yeah, exactly. Or that he was making some kind of deranged joke. Has some sort of very, very sick sense of humor.
Yes.
They thought that until he placed a human arm on the desk of the officer on duty.
I'm sorry. How do you just walk in to a police station with a freaking arm?
Well,
how asleep are these police officers?
No. I had to say that he had a backpack with him.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Sorry, I should have said. And then they thought that until he placed a human arm on the desk of the officer on duty and started pulling out a human leg out of the backpack that he was carrying.
Okay, I should have waited. Sorry.
No stress. So he was a 32-year-old man at the time and was originally from Ladysmith, where he had been practicing as a traditional healer. He had allegedly fled to Escort for unknown reasons. He ended up living in Rensburg Drift near Escort, where he had been renting a one-room house from someone. They did name the person in the article, but I really didn't understand the relevance of naming someone that's not really directly linked to the case.
Yeah.
And he also had no idea of Mbata's crimes and the things that he was doing in the house. A neighbor of Mbata said that he started detecting a really, really foul odor coming from Mbata's house, but no one was ever allowed to go into his house, Mbata's house. He went on to say that he had a tiff with Mbata regarding money, and he, the neighbor, asked his sister, so the neighbor's sister, he asked his own sister, who allegedly had been dating Mbata, to check out what that horrible smell was that was coming from his house. And he claimed that she said she found he claimed that she said she came back and told him that she had found a human arm and leg in his room. She was obviously too scared to probably go to police or confront Mbata about it. So after his confession, Mbata took the police to his house that I just spoke of, where they were probably not prepared to find what they did. The following bit I got from a blog post on Medium by Mary Holman, and she really did a great job of summarizing the entire case. So, quote, speaking of the investigating officer, they said, I followed the accused into the room where he retrieved a small dish Inside, I saw something shaped like an ear and what appeared to be jaws. He then picked up another bucket, and that appeared to have intestines in it. In one of the pots, they also found 8 different human ears, skulls, bones, and other body parts. And it was then that Nino told him he wasn't alone in his heinous crime.
My word. Can we go back to talking about shells?
So Tembiso Sitole, who was 31, Lindukule Masondo, who was 32, and Lungusane Mkumbane, who was 30, were all named as participating offenders. The National Prosecuting Authority spokesperson, Natasha Ramkisankara, said that Magumbane had approached Mbata for Muti.
Okay.
So he was down on his luck in various aspects of his life, and apparently both Magubane and Musondo were sick and tired of being broke, and they wanted luck to make them rich. They were desperate enough to do anything. Mbata told them that the ancestors required blood to be spilled for this kind of muti, and said that they must bring a woman or a child in order for him to carry out this ritual or spell. I'm not 100% sure what you would call this, because it's also not traditional healing, and I'll get to this later on. This is not
and it's not like
a part of the traditional healers association,
and you wouldn't call it
I guess.
Association. You wouldn't call it a spell either, because that's not normal. That's not witchcraft.
No.
Human sacrifice is not a thing that happens anymore.
No.
So
Allegedly, Musondo, they kept calling him Lamula, and I'm not sure why, but I'm pretty sure.
What does it mean?
I don't know.
Did you Google it?
No. In the articles, they kept referring to him as Lamula instead of
Oh, so it's not like his friends called him that.
No.
Oh.
Well, no, and there's nothing on Google.
Huh.
So if anyone knows why they kept calling him Lamula, but I'm pretty sure it was Musondo that they were talking about. They bumped, so he bumped into Zanele. So Musondo bumped into Zanele while she was on her way to visit her grandmother. So to get back to Zanele, she was a 25-year-old mother to a 2-year-old son, and she lived in Shayamoya near Gans Castle, about 35 kilometers west of Escourt. She was going to visit her grandmother and some of her other family in Escourt when she left home. She was last seen by her family members on the 25th of July. It's reported that she had a second thought about actually going there. Zanele's cousin said she was reluctant to travel to Pietermaritzburg and I think Escourt is in Pietermaritzburg. Saying, quote, she had a feeling that she should not go. She was scared to go. She said she had a bad feeling but went anyway because her grandmother was not well, end quote.
Shannon.
She was apparently scared due to WhatsApp messages circulating about human trafficking. Apparently women and children were being abducted from outside their schools and workplaces. So she's scared to travel and probably scared to leave her child as well, even if the child was taken care of by family. But she did leave, and like I said, she left on the 25th of July, but she never phoned to let any of her family members know that she made it to her other family's home safely. But they also didn't think too much of it. I guess, in rural places, sometimes you don't always have signal, or maybe the phone battery ran out. You never know. But as the days went by and Zanele was not returning home, her family grew worried. Her sister called her aunt, who lives near the grandmother that Zanele was going to visit, But she said that she hadn't seen Zanele at all. But she was sure that she would, quote, definitely come back and explain herself, unquote. When news broke on the case in Escort, the case on the cannibalism, Zanele's family contacted the police in Escort. They gave them a description of her appearance, what she had been wearing on the last day that they saw her. When they went to the police station in Escort, they were taken into a room where they saw a bag of clothes that had allegedly been taken from Mbata's house. They recognized Zanele's bloodied clothes that she had been wearing on the last day they saw her. Black leggings, pumps, a white vest, and a denim jacket. They were told that an armless, beheaded, and severely mutilated body had been found east of Escort in a veld underneath heavy rocks.
Okay.
It is believed that Masondo had run into Zanele while she was on her journey to her grandmother. He offered her a ride, but he was obviously not planning on taking her to her desired destination. He alerted Magumbane and Mbata, and they set up a time and place to meet. And obviously, this is where the trigger warning comes in. This is where they most likely ambushed Zanele, raping and killing her before dismembering her body. As I mentioned, the police found Zanele's body in a veld, concealed under some big rocks. They were, quote, waiting for the body parts to attract maggots. Apparently maggots collect money for them.
Okay.
Okay.
First of all, gross.
Yeah, I hate
the brutality, like to do that to someone because you feel like your life isn't going that well.
I don't understand. Yeah, it gets worse. They were also instructed to eat her flesh. If they wanted the ceremony to be successful.
Jeez, okay.
So, got worse. Got much, much worse. As the case was breaking, a resident meeting was held in the Mangwe area near Escort, where more than 700 people gathered. When questioned by a councillor, 300 of them admitted to visiting Mbata, knowing he was giving them human flesh to eat as muti.
Oh my word, okay. How?
I can't even get my head around it. One of the accused was also apparently a local popular meat supplier. So who knows how many people were unwillingly also.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? Like it's very icky.
Yeah, it's bad all around.
Yeah. The judge said Magubane made a statement about his role, which was very detailed and had to have been made by someone who was involved in the murder. But Magubane claimed he was made to sign blank documents, therefore his signature appeared throughout the statement. And the judge said that Magubane's signature was above all the mistakes in the statement. Somebody who fabricated the statement would not have gone through the trouble to make mistakes and sign above them. In addition, police officers heard Magubane talk to Mbata about the murder while they were together in the police cell. Masondo said all he did was drive the woman, Zanele, and the men to a farm, and later he heard that a woman had been killed. His attorney, Lauren Marais, had argued that the state did not prove that this woman was Zanele, and he was acquitted.
Oh, no. Because, I mean, if you're driving someone who's known to cannibalize and you're driving someone, like, what do you expect's going to happen?
The other man incriminated, Sitembiso Sitole, committed suicide just a few days after he was arrested.
Okay. An innocent person wouldn't do that.
That's what I'm saying. Nino Mbata and Dungisani Magubane were sentenced to life in prison. Thank goodness. Something I learned while researching this case is that there's no explicit law stating that cannibalism is a crime in South Africa.
Oh.
But mutilating a corpse and being in possession of dismembered human remains is a criminal offence. But there's no there's no direct offence in the law against cannibalism. But like how can you commit cannibalism if it's illegal to have a dismembered human remain? You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, I suppose in that way it sort of protects people who, like you said with that butcher potentially, serving humans to people. It like protects those people who had no idea.
True. That's very true. So the Traditional Healers Association stated that the two men are simply criminals and they do not represent what they as traditional healers actually do and believe. Real traditional healers do not use human organs for healing and do not murder people for rituals. They use natural remedies to aid those who seek their help. So lastly, I just want to say my heart goes out to Zanele's family and to every other family that couldn't identify their loved ones. And I think the judge said it best when closing out proceedings. What happened in this case is truly awful, and it is the stuff of nightmares. I don't even know where to start to try and assemble together a sentence to say how I feel or how it's just I'm just speechless, really. I don't it's sad to me because I feel like a lot of people who go to who go to traditional healers and stuff like that really implicitly trust these people, and I think usually it's good if they are actual traditional healers with no malice and ill intent, but because some people aren't necessarily educated enough to recognize certain red flags in certain circumstances, or realize that no amount of killing is going to bring you good luck and riches. They
prey on people who are most vulnerable, who are just so desperate that they're like, I need some sort of help. And sometimes those people can be convinced to do anything.
It's such a sad case, and the fact that there were 300 other people that admitted to going there, knowing that he was giving them human flesh to consume as a part of these rituals or part of the muti that they had, whatever the case may have been. It just goes to show that, I don't know, groupthink also goes a far way. If everyone says this works, and everyone like we always say, if everyone starts believing a certain thing in a certain way, surely you're attracting that to you in a certain sense. So surely you've taken this, now you think things are going to get better, so you're starting to think more positively, and then by that attracting more positive things to you. That being said, obviously hard work is always the way to go, and you can't sit back and just hope and put good vibes out there and hope that things are just going to work out. Obviously you need to work, and people who say otherwise, people who say that it's all just good vibes, if you have put good vibes out, you're only going to attract good things and whatever, those people are frauds, because that's
then
also
I would be a millionaire.
Me too. From the amount of times that I had wished, or I would be a fucking be able to bend time, because of the times that I have wanted and willed the time to just stop. I would have manifested being a fucking time bender by now.
That would be very handy.
Oh my word. I always wanted to just pause the time during exams and tests, run up to the teachers, a desk and go and find all the answers. Just sit there and leisurely take my time, answer all the questions, go and have a meal, maybe have a nap, and then come back and, like, quote unquote, finish the test, and then go and do all those things.
We are such different people. We are such different people. I literally wanted to rob banks, but anyway. The other night, it was Pandora and Lily. They were cuddling so cutely. It's like, oh, puppy and kitty love. Just like snuggling into each other.
They got used to each other pretty quickly, though.
Oh yeah, and now they like play a lot. Like every morning,
nice.
Pandora and Lily have to play. And then Pandy's like, meow, 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 but she's playing. Like she's lying on her back, like swatting at the dog. She's like, meow, meow. It's so cute.
That is cute.
I'm glad they're all friends. See, I knew Pandy just wanted another dog.
That's all she needed in her life.
Yeah, she missed Shadow. People must think I'm so weird. Like, why did you get a dog? Well, mostly for my cat. For the oldest cat. She really wanted a dog.
But she had a real bond with Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow. Yeah, they were best friends. So, yeah, she was very sad after Shadow died. So, well, what a way to segue, because today I'm talking about Hellhounds.
That's interesting. The only Hellhounds I know is from Supernatural.
Of course. The one place I didn't look.
Did you watch Supernatural?
I did. But that's like one of Bass's favorite TV shows. When I was younger, when it still came out like on the SABCs, like those channels, and I watched the first episode, and I have this image of the woman on the ceiling, and my young brain was so scarred by that, because back then I didn't watch horrors, and I was like, what is this? Yes. And I was so scared.
I can't imagine you not ever having seen a horror. Like, I can't picture Kristin pre-horror.
Younger me would have hated this me, because I was scared of everything. But then again, I was also like believing that, my parents, what they explained was actually sleep paralysis and not a demon. I was like, that was definitely a demon attack. So I think the way I was like very indoctrinated back then, everything is evil and you're going to hell. So I think once I got out of that, I could embrace life a bit better.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, now I'm going to shut up and then start talking.
Tell me about Hellhounds. I'm going to say Houndhounds.
Yes, Houndhounds, my favourite. And
the Hounds of Hell.
So, this might be it. Yes. Which is probably what Lily is. So, this might be a bit jumbled. I try to make it like sort of sequential, but it's basically just what I found, the bit of stories, because that's English. It's great, you'll like it. Okay, so I don't know anymore. So, Hellhounds. Okay. These are known as ferocious beasts who have shaggy, very rarely can also be grey, black fur. So they usually have black fur, but there are times when they're known to have grey. They are larger than an average dog, sometimes as large as ponies, and they have glowing red eyes, but it's sometimes yellow, sometimes green. But the point is that their eyes are very distinct, like notice it. It's very
like almost
it's not it's not the same as like if you see a cat in the dark and you see their eyes. This is like their eyes are like really glowing.
That colour the whole time.
The dog, and the dog can also be headless, which I hate.
So then no eyes.
So, no. So, yeah, you don't want to see one of those. So, apparently, if you shoot them, the bullets won't harm them.
Behind you. Sorry.
What? What? You have to look behind me. Yeah, I like you. I don't like this.
It's just peeling off. It's peeling off. And then I wanted to say,
I can't see myself. Because the notes are in front of my video, so I didn't see it.
So I just wanted to say, like, look behind you, it's peeling off, and then as you, like, because there's a lag, so as you heard, look behind you, it had already started falling off.
Oh my word. Why did we do this? Okay. And these aren't even like the really scary stories. Like every time I want to do certain topics, I'm like, no, I don't want to research this. Okay, well then. So yes, apparently if you shoot them, the bullets won't harm them. And if you look them in the eyes, it means that you will die within a year's time. Which sucks because if you see glowing eyes, you're going to look into those. And then you're like, well, crap, now I'm going to die. Yeah, so it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
You don't get to know when you die, you just get surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Nice.
So, in around 1577, what a long time ago.
I know.
In Suffolk, England. Yeah, like, how is 1577 even the time?
A real number, a real, time, a real year.
Yeah, so in around 1577 in Suffolk, English, it is said that a snarling beast entered a church and went on a rampage. It bit 2 churchgoers on the neck, and both of these people died. It was also said to have caused burns to another man.
Oh my gosh.
So,
burns? How?
Yeah.
Oh,
burns.
because it's a hellhound and comes with fire.
I guess. They didn't specify that, but yeah. So this terrifying dog was also known as the Black Shuck or the Old Shuck in East Anglia. In Devon, England, it is known as the Whist Hound or the Yeth. On the Isle of Man, it's known as the Moddy Doo, which I think is the cutest.
Moddy Doo?
Moddy Doo. Maybe I should start calling Lily that. In Lincolnshire, it's known as the Hairy Jack. In Wales, it's called... Oh shit, wait. This had a Welsh pronunciation that I did not... Oh my god, every time I want to put something in Google, it says, your connection is not private. I'm literally connected to a VPN. Okay, anyway. So I'm probably saying this wrong because I can't find pronunciation now. The Gweji in Wales, I don't know, it's Welsh. No one knows how to speak Welsh, probably not even the Welsh. What is happening?
Patrick is sneezing.
I always feel bad for those people who have like sneeze attacks. It's not just 1 or 2, it's like
no, he never
5.
He never sneezes just once, it's always like 6 times.
Shame. So, in Yorkshire and Lancashire, it's known as the Gitrash, Padfoot. I mean, you've got...
Padfoot?
What's
like
British?
from
I don't
Harry Potter.
know. What? Padfoot with a pay.
Padfoot.
How do they speak in Yorkshire? This is probably embarrassing myself. Lancashire.
Scottish.
What's? I know I'm trying to be. I just go to Irish all the time. British. What's
That's
British?
A good accent.
Oh, thank you. I think I might have some Irish on my dad's side, so I'm hoping I want to do DNA test one day. Anyway. British. I'm posh. I'm British. British. Yes. In Yorkshire and Lancashire, they're known as the Gitrash, the Padfoot, and the Bargist. That is the worst British accent I've ever done. I'm so nervous. Okay.
Why are you...
Sorry, just ignore me. I don't know, just cut all of that out. No, don't. So there's it's such a weird spelling. It's G-Y trash. Gitrash, Padfoot, and Bargist. Anyway, that's probably... I mean, it doesn't matter, but... They are also sometimes referred to as Snarly Yow, which is also another cute name.
Yeah, that is so cute.
And in Scotland, they are known to guard treasure that is buried near Merthley in Perthshire. So there's like apparently this legend that under this specific stone or structure, there's treasure, and the black dogs are often seen there guarding this site and this treasure.
Ah.
So it was then noted to arrive in Blythburgh, and again it targeted a church, Holy Trinity Church, where it killed a man and a boy, and somehow it caused the steeple to collapse off of this church. So structural damage, and yeah. According to legends, this dog or beast left burn marks on church doors. So again, I suppose because it's comes from hell.
Yeah, it just brings fire along with it.
Yeah.
Would it carry the fire in its... Sorry. Would it
No.
carry the fire as a part of its fur? Would it have its own little lantern on its collar that it carries?
I just pictured a Pokemon with a little flame off its back.
Oh, these are the questions I have.
Yeah. Maybe it's like Ninetales with the fire on the end of the tail. Yeah. Sorry, now I'm just Pokemon.
No, but did we speak about that rock in Japan that held the 9-tailed fox demon that broke?
I've heard about this, but we didn't speak about it, I think.
Very, very interesting. I'll do
Was it before the war, or...?
No, it was just after the war broke out. I think it was a week or two, maybe 3 weeks after.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
interesting.
It's a female demonic spirit that, as far as I could understand and as far as I can remember, just before she was entrapped, she was trying to kill an emperor that wasn't such a great emperor.
So it was a douchey dude.
So let's hope she...
So finally go after the douchiest dude in the world.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly.
We are for entertainment purposes only. Any persons we refer to, real or fictional, is intended. Okay, so kind of quote. Hellhounds were also reported to appear at 17th century witch trials.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if this is because, for example, the goddess Hecate, she is known to have 2 hellhounds with her that walk with her and add protection and stuff. So I don't know if, in the old witchcraft of England, that sort of theme might have come up. Because, animals accompanying women is not obviously unusual in witchcraft. Paganism, let me say.
They're familiar.
Because there's Freya in... Yeah, and also with Freya in Norse mythology, she had 2 cats that drew her chariot.
Oh, yes.
So, a female deity having 2 animals is pretty normal. So, yeah, Hecate is known to have her hellhounds with her. Some accounts of hellhounds are good, though. There was a tale about how one of these beasts rescued a local girl because some friar, a religious leader, some man, was apparently sexually assaulting this child. This happened in Littleport, Cambridgeshire. And apparently the dog died during this rescue.
No.
And its ghost is said to now wander through the countryside. So that's really sad. The dog gave its life to protect her.
But
against this dude. I hope it went straight for the jugular.
Me too. I hope the dude died as well, not just the dog. Was the dog
I really hope
killed because of what happened, or
they didn't say? It just said that he was there protecting the little girl. Yeah. So, also speaking of which, did you see that the main pastor of Hillsong, the international church, he was I think he had to step down because they found that he was apparently texting younger women inappropriately.
No, I did not know that, but it does not surprise me. It does not surprise me.
I mean, he's gone for years without scandal. He's gone for years. But what irritated me was that instead of being a godly man and saying, I messed up, screwed up, I'm sorry, I will step down so that someone can take over my spot, but I am sorry that I screwed up, my apologies to those women and their families. No, it's because he was apparently taking medication that made him act that way. It's like, can you at least blame the devil if you're going to do this?
What medication?
Exactly. Like we said in the last episode, like, if you are under the influence of something and you do something, that was already in you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can't be that millionaire, like, all that money in charge of the biggest church in the world without it going to your head. Like,
exactly. Like, what I was going to say is, like, did the medication force your fingers to spaz up and, like, press a specific sequence of letters to the specific woman, and you couldn't think for yourself further than, I want to say, your dick is long? No, don't be fucking stupid. He knew exactly what he was doing.
This website's...
He just didn't think he would ever get caught. And even if he did get caught, like, he probably didn't think there would be any repercussions because of his power that he probably has.
Status.
You know? Exactly.
Yeah. So he resigned after complaints of impropriety were made against him by 2 women. Also, the fact that he's, like, trying to blame it on stuff is so insulting to his wife. Like,
oh yeah, of course.
Just you're in the public. Probably. You're now just saying, but this quote says, church leadership said that at the time Houston was, quote, under the influence of sleeping tablets upon which he had developed a dependence. The second thing says, the second incident occurred during the megachurch's annual conference in 2019 when a, quote, disoriented Houston entered a woman's hotel room while under the influence of, quote, anti-anxiety medication beyond the prescribed dose mixed with alcohol. I have been on anti-anxiety medication and been drinking, and I have not sexually assaulted anyone. I've not gone up to some dude and just, like, grabbed him by the junk, you know? I've not pushed my way onto someone, and I had been drinking and I'd had Ativan. Like, I mean, also, Whitney Houston died from taking too much anti-anxiety medication and alcohol.
And drinking,
but you want to say that caused you to sexually assault someone? Like, come on.
Bullshit.
It either, like,
I feel like
affects you to the point that you die, or just
I feel like it would kind of sedate you, no? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never been
and to just go into someone's hotel room. Yeah,
exactly. Like,
so it just frustrated me.
I've never.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, it's the lag. It's honestly the lag. It's not even you. I've never. The only time that I've had any experience with taking medication and drinking is the one time Pat and I went on, like, a weekend away or something, and we got some, like, a platter of sushi, we got a bottle of white wine to share, and we had a couple of glasses of wine. I think I had two, three glasses of wine, and then my period started, and I had, like, super bad cramps, and that, like, we had the wine and stuff probably like an hour, maybe 2 hours before, and I thought, okay, let me take a Nurofen. Oh my word, that was the worst mistake I could have ever made in my life. I've never felt so sick before. I spent, like, the whole night on the bathroom floor throwing up. Like, it was, oh my gosh, it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. Like, my body cannot deal with things like that. I just go into almost shutdown mode, and I just vomit out everything that I have in my stomach, and I just, like, become numb, basically. So I don't know how. I guess everything is also different substances, and things affect people differently, but don't blame something like that on mixing two substances. Don't blame your sexual assault on, go away.
And I just read, like, 2 sentences down because I have not seen this article yet, and this, I think, just answers our questions. This guy's resignation from Hillsong comes as he readies to face trial over the charge that he covered up his father's alleged child sexual abuse. Houston was charged last year with concealing information from police about child abuse by his father, Frank, who was also a pastor and died in 2004. Frank Houston had been accused of sexually abusing a young boy while a preacher in the 1970s.
Of course.
So the father abuses young boys, and now he's sexually assaulting young women. So what a family to run the biggest church in the world. Oh my word, sorry, jeez, let's get back on track. Where are we? Okay, well, the earliest written record of the Hellhound can be found in the, quote, 11th and 12th century Peterborough version of the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. That's probably some old church document.
Yeah.
So this is a direct quote because I didn't know how to rephrase this. So the chronicler wrote that, quote, reliable witnesses had seen packs of dogs, jet black with eyes like saucers and horrible, led in a wild hunt, travelling through the woods stretching between Peterborough and Stamford. In Tavistock, in Devon, England, a black dog legend concerns Lady Howard, a real person who lived in the 17th century. The story about her most likely is an incorporation of her into an older black dog haunting legend. According to this tale, the ghost of Lady Howard drives every night from the gatehouse of Fitzford along an old road to Oakhampton Castle and back. She rides in a horse-drawn coach driven by a headless coachman, guided by a black greyhound who has one eye in the middle of its forehead. Sometimes she makes the journey herself. Sometimes she makes the journey herself in the form of a phantom dog. So
she can shapeshift.
A few. Yeah, apparently. Well, I mean, she's a ghost, so.
Yeah.
But still, you wouldn't think a ghost could shapeshift.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Do all ghosts have this ability?
Well, I mean, your energy. I mean, if you're just energy, surely you can morph into whatever you want. But then again, do you have the freedom? I don't know. There are a few benevolent legends involving a black dog, such as one told by Johnny Greenwood from Swancliffe. The man described being followed by a black dog while walking at night in the woods. The creature remained by his side until he emerged out from the trees. Years later, 2 prisoners confessed that they wanted to rob and murder Johnny during that night in the woods, but they decided otherwise after noting the presence of the big black dog accompanying him. Which I think is a really cool story.
Yeah.
So these 2 robbers just like years later say, no, there was a big scary looking dog with this dude, I'm not touching him. Which is so nice, and also is that the black dog is not this evil thing that's like this portent of death. It's like, yeah. It is said that if you encounter one of these hellhounds, it is best to leave them alone and not approach it. They can be vicious, but it appears that most of the time that is only if they are provoked. They can be seen as an omen, as they appear at accident sites of fatal car crashes. Apparently they howl when someone is dying. Okay. And then they apparently howl when someone dies. They are said to protect travellers, roads, and graves of people who died tragic deaths. Like, they also said to protect people who like travel at night. If it's a dangerous road, you might see one of these black dogs, because they're there to just keep an eye on you. And the last point is, in the US, in West Virginia's Riverview Cemetery, there are accounts of a black dog digging in the cemetery, but there is no dog that is kept in the cemetery, and the fences are built in such a way that it keeps animals out. But like people who walk by can see a dog digging in the cemetery.
That's why.
Yeah. It's also, I also saw somewhere that these dogs are said to, I don't know why I didn't put this in here. They're said to sit at the graves of people who have died, like tragic deaths, or so sort of like they're keeping you company, or protecting them. So yeah, like there were other stories, but I thought I could go into those stories more in detail at a different point. But this is just like the introduction to black hounds and hellhounds. But yeah, it kind of goes with the whole black cat thing where you think, oh, it's black animal, it must be evil, it's dark, it's absent from light.
Yeah.
But like they can be good,
And do they, like from what I remember on Supernatural, the Hellhounds kind of went and fetched people that have a debt to the devil, basically. And that's also the guy, what's his name, that sings Crossroad Blues.
Never heard of that.
Robert Johnson. So
don't know who that is.
He was a blues singer back in like the 1930s. And there was a rumor surrounding him that he sold his soul to the devil to get really good at playing the guitar and becoming really good at music and stuff like that. And it was said that one night he was playing a concert, or not a concert in the way that we think of a concert, but playing in a bar or whatever, and he all of a sudden had this really like scared look in his face, and it said that night the Hellhounds came and dragged him to hell to get to obviously for him to repay his debt, because that had been 10 years after he had gotten really good at playing guitar and becoming famous and stuff like that. Maybe that's a story that you could cover as well. I know Two Girls One Ghost covered it.
I forgot that podcast exists, and I was like, oh no, what are you talking about? I don't think there were Hellhounds involved there. I hope.
Ew. Oh, I'm really interested in that, or to hear more of that.
Yeah, and I want to also like look more into in different cultures, like how the black dogs are perceived, and in the their mythos and the stories, what roles they played. Because I also saw something that said dogs are the oldest domesticated animals that humans have. It started with the wolves, and they became our dogs. So we've always had dogs as pets, as humanity. So we're obviously going to have stories about them. But it's also just weird how people just believe, like, oh, it's a black dog, it's a black cat, like, it's bad. They're actually protectors and good.
Oh, we didn't even say welcome to Law and Omen. Do you know that? We're so bad at this, and we've been doing it for so long. Or not so long, like, long enough.
I would not have thought of it at all. Oh my word.
Literally just came into it just popped into my head. I'm like, oh my word, brain, it's a little late for that, but okay, thank you. Thank you for your contribution.
You've probably had a spirit guide like standing around you being like, oh my god, Chanelle, listen to me. You need to do your intro. This is why we don't help you, because you don't listen.
This is why you are the way you are.
Well, like,
so this was Law and Omen.
Yeah, welcome. Goodbye to Law and Omen.
No.
Welcome to the end of Law and Omen.
Yes.
The end of the episode, not the end of the podcast. Yeah.
And
thank you for joining us and putting up with us.
Yes, thank you for that. You can email us at info@lawanomen.com. Yes.
We are on Facebook and Instagram at Law and Omen.
We are, and we are on all the platforms, all the audio platforms, I guess. Spotify, Apple Podcast. What was that new one you said about? Oh, you said earlier?
Oh, that's just Podchaser, where you can leave us reviews.
Yes.
You can review each episode individually and tell us how much you hate us.
Love us.
Also, our websites. Our website is lawandomen.com. Yeah.
And that's it. We release new episodes every Sunday. Don't know what time. Just a time on Sunday. And
yeah, when it happens.
Join us for more chaotic ramblings.
I'm gonna eat my chocolate waffles now.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Enjoy that. And
yeah, so
okay. Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.